Columbia University is now closing the book on a series of high-profile disciplinary cases stemming from last year's campus protests.
The university announced final sanctions connected to the alumni weekend encampment and also the disruption inside Butler Library this past May. Sources tell CBS News New York more than 70 individuals were disciplined. School officials say the investigations led to penalties ranging from suspension to expulsion as they work to strengthen and streamline their disciplinary process. Lisa Rosner has reaction now from campus.
Free Palestine!
Columbia University says this demonstration at Butler Library in May affected hundreds of students attempting to study. A source from the university telling us 80% of the participants are being suspended for a minimum of 2 years or expelled.
They're damaging property. Several public safety officers got injured in the process. This is a good first step. There's a lot more to do.
It comes as the university tries to work with the Trump administration, who is withholding $400 million in federal grants from the school, accusing it of continued inaction in the face of persistent harassment of Jewish students.
To be suspended for 2 or 3 years or even expelled because of a 25-minute demonstration in a reading room of a library, that just strikes me as draconian.
It's wild that students who call that out and draw attention to major humanitarian crises are punished so severely.
The school said students who participated in an encampment during alumni weekend of spring 2024 were also disciplined. The university judicial board held hearings, and in a statement, the school said in part, "Our institution must focus on delivering on its academic mission for our community. Disruptions to academic activities are in violation of university policies and rules." Columbia for Palestine criticized the board and said in part on Instagram the record demonstrates active collusion, not reluctant concessions. The trustees used the Trump administration as cover to escalate their Zionist agenda.
Columbia is finally acting like an institution with a backbone. So I don't think this is about censorship. It's just about basic accountability.
It's sad to say, but we've kind of gotten used to this. I definitely think the reason why students do this is because they think they can get away with it.
The group Columbia for Palestine said online in part the students will not be deterred. Meanwhile, pro-Israel advocates say the school needs to do more, like setting time, place, and manner restrictions for demonstrations to make a difference. In Morningside Heights, Lisa Rosner, CBS News, New York.
Good morning, Owasso. This is Chad with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. Well, as you saw there, it seems that we have trouble brewing when two minority groups go against each other. And the question always comes down to is which side is the government going to side on? It seems the Democrats will side with the Palestinians protesters, and the Republicans will side, or at least Donald Trump will side with the Jewish or Israeli protesters. So, again, when two minority groups go up against each other, it's basically like who's all for who the Democrats are going to have to be able to take the side of. And, it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to figure out, but you'd think the side that's not conducting terrorist attacks would be the side that you'd want to more likely be a part of. But, heck, what do I know? I'm just a guy who talks for a living on the internet, right? So we'll get into this right here with the Columbia University and the fact that they actually have to get paid and get fined. Like, yeah, you're not doing your job. Again, universities are making protesters. They aren't making students, or what they're supposed to be making is future employees or employers, job creators, or at least scientists, researchers, stuff like that. That's what they're supposed to be doing. That's not what they're doing. They're making protesters. They're making activists, and they're sending them out to the world, and you're wondering why we're having mass amounts or unprecedented amounts of riots and protests in this country. It's because schools are no longer places to go learn, study, and try to find a career. They're places where you go to learn how to protest. That's why all universities should be defunded. Especially, I'm 100% agree with that. If a university is actively letting people break their rules and they're breaking federal requirements for receiving funding, absolutely take away their funding. Again, why are we federally funding colleges anyway, especially private Ivy League colleges? Why are they getting federal funding? That's kind of the whole point of them being private, is They're supposed to be so good or so amazing that they get so much money that they don't need to be funded from the federal government. It's insane. So I went to TU. The amount of money that I had to pay to go to TU was insane. Insane. And I know they receive federal funding. So where are those federal dollars? What are those federal dollars doing? Questions that need answers. But Columbia University to pay $200 million in settlement with Trump administration. Columbia University has agreed to pay $2 million to President Donald Trump's administration over accusations it failed to protect Jewish students. The settlement, which would be paid to the federal government over 3 years, announced in a statement by the university and confirmed by the president on social media. In exchange, the government has agreed to return some of the $400 million in federal grants it froze or terminated in March. Columbia was the first school targeted by the administration for its alleged failures to curb anti-Semitism last year's Israel-Gaza protest on New York City campuses. It had already agreed to set demands from the White House in March. The deal with Columbia's university is a seismic shift in our nation's fight to hold universities accountable, Education Secretary Lyndon McMahon said. Claire Shipman, Columbia's acting president, said in a statement, "This agreement marks an important step forward after a period of sustained federal scrutiny and institutional uncertainty." Columbia is among the list of universities that have been pursued by Trump's administration over protest against Israel war campaign and in other issues, including transgender athletes, diversity, equity, inclusion, DEI programs. The government has targeted over 4,000 grants for termination at over 600 universities and colleges across the U.S., totaling in around roughly $8 billion, according to the tracker of the Center of American Progress, a liberal think tank. Good Lord, $8 billion. You want to know where our money, why we're in such a high deficit? It's because we're funding colleges like crazy. Colleges should just be funded by their states and by the people who go there. It's insane that we're sending $8 billion to education system that is literally failing. The education system has been failing for a long time. Trump posted on Truth Social platform on Wednesday, Columbia has committed to ending their ridiculous DEI policies, admitting students only based on merit, and protecting civil liberties of their students on campus. Numerous other higher education institutions have hurt so many, unjust, unfair, and have wrongly spent federal money, much of it from our government, are upcoming. Yeah, merit only. I mean, that was the whole point of the Asian students suing Harvard, because it's harder for them to get in to Harvard because they have a higher threshold, because there's more Asian students at the university per capita than any other race. So the two races that have the hardest to get into Harvard are Asians, and then it's whites right underneath them. They're the two that have the highest bar, that they have to do twice as much to pat on their tests and scoring to get into the university than any other race. So again, if you have the highest tests, why are you just throwing somebody in who has a high test but not the highest test into the university? It's going to struggle while they're there. That's the question that these people are wanting to know, and that's why DEI is such a corrupt thing. It's like, oh, we're just going to put you in there even though you didn't qualify. We're going to put you in. It's like, it's the whole thing of the Army getting rid of the standards for the PT test or whatever. If you don't pass the PT test, you can't be in the combat arms. There's a lot of people that can't pass the combat arms physical fitness test. And yeah, you don't want somebody like that in there. Like I said, they have to be able to that's the bare minimum. You have to do the bare minimum in the PT test to be able to be in combat arms. Bare minimum. I mean, you want to do way better than the bare minimum, but yeah, it's insane. It's insane. They're just like, oh, we're going to throw this crippled person in there. That's DEI. That is what DEI do. Well, infantry, the infantry has no crippled people in it, so we're going to put this guy in a wheelchair in the infantry. It's like, that's how DEI would work. All right. Numerous higher education institutions have hurt so many and been unfair and unjust. Oh, we already read that part. 1 month after Trump was sworn into office, the administration stripped Columbia of $400 million in federal funding over allegations of anti-Semitism. Frozen funds posed an immediate threat to the university's research, leading Ms. Shipman to say in June that things had reached a tipping point. The White House decision led Columbia to enact campus rule, changing demands by the administration, including a reorganization of the Middle Eastern Studies Department and a hiring of special officers empowered to remove students from campus and make arrests. Columbia said as part of the monetary settlement, a vast majority of the canceled or paused grants would be reinstated. The agreement codifies many changes to the college has already been announced and includes that a jointly selected independent monitor will be appointed to assess the implementation of the agreement. Some of those adjustments include disciplining students who were part of the encampment of the university campus as part of the Gaza protest, requiring protesters to show campus ID, not allowing face masks during demonstrations, providing greater oversight of student groups, and expansion of officers on campus. And I agree with that. They shouldn't be able to wear masks, and they should be students. Like, if there's outside influences coming in to do protests, that's not cool. And two, if you don't want ICE officers wearing masks, student protesters can't wear masks. Antifa can't wear masks. Why would they hide their face? They're only hiding their face because they're criminals. Okay, then let's apply that logic to Antifa and your little Palestinian protester groups, because, yeah, I agree that ICE people shouldn't be hiding their faces, but ICE people are actually getting doxxed and attacked, whereas these freaking student protesters aren't. I mean, they see their face in the university because you can't protest against the university. I'm pretty sure that goes against student handbook. Breaking laws goes against your student handbook. So, yeah, the reason why they're hiding their face is because they know that they're breaking school rules and they can get kicked out. So people who hide their faces are breaking the law. The university settlement the university said in a settlement that it was not an admission of wrongdoing. Bullcrap. This agreement marks an important step forward after a period of sustained federal scrutiny and institutional uncertainty. And Shipman said the settlement was carefully crafted to protect the values that define us and allow our initial research partners with the federal government to get back on track. She added that the terms of the agreement would safeguard the school's independence. Columbia's willingness to comply with the administration in March was met with intense criticism from some who felt the Ivy League college had conceded its independence. Harvard has taken the opposite approach. Although the government has spent billions in funding from the university, moved to end its ability to enroll international students, Harvard is suing the administration. Hearings in the case between Harvard, the richest university in the country, and the White House, the nation's highest branch of government, began Monday. Trump administration has signaled that it's hoping schools go more in the direction of Columbia. In her statement, McMahon called Columbia's reforms a roadmap for elite universities that wish to regain confidence of the American public. I believe they will ripple across the higher education sector and change the course of campus culture for years to come, she said. And I do hope that's the case, because this is absolutely ridiculous that the universities allow their students to to do these types of protests. It's absolutely insane. These schools should be stripped of their funding immediately. If you're going to create a bunch of activists that are basically anti-America and anti-American allies, you're creating a group of radical protesters. That's all you're doing. And you're signaling to our enemies that we're weak as a country, that we're weak as a nation, and that we're ready to be conquered. That is all that this is. And considering that every single country that has a large mass Muslim population immediately starts to initiate Sharia law into all of their government, goes to show you that they're not here to adapt to our cultures. They're here to change us to their cultures. So these people We need to look at these people and start being like, hey, it's time to go. It's time to go, especially if they came here as a refugee or as an immigrant, or especially as an illegal immigrant, is like, send them back. They're not adapting. They're not becoming American. They're wanting America to become Muslim. That's all this is. We're letting these people in, and they're trying to subvert our culture and subvert our nation and weaken us so that way they can take over. That is all this is. This is why it always happens that when two minority groups clash, Democrats don't know what to do 90% of the time. They're like, whose side do we take? And the Republicans are going to be like, well, let's take the side of the less evil. And in this case, anybody that supports Palestine is literally not the best. They literally support the kidnapping, murder, and assault of women and children. That's the difference between these two cultures. Is the Palestinians hide behind civilians, the Israelis protect the civilians. But that's really all I've got with that. So we're just going to go into our general meme review today. Otherwise, this would be a really short show. So we're going to start with this right here. So let's check this out.
Democrats have become like a royal family that, because of so much incest, has unfortunately had children who are retarded.
True. Very true. Gavin Newsom is proof of that. And speaking of people who are basically retarded, Hunter Biden was interviewed and had the cringiest and worst takes in human history. It's like, usually you try to hide the embarrassing children of politicians. You don't go put them and parade them around in front of a camera. Said whoever's idea this was, that this humanizes them, makes them more relatable, is insane.
Does crack cocaine make you act any differently? No. Is it safer than alcohol? Probably. People think of crack as being dirty. It's the exact opposite. When you make crack, what you're doing is you're burning off all the impurities so that it combines with the sodium bicarbonate, which makes it smokable.
I'm getting the distinct impression that Hunter Biden has learned nothing. He's managed to learn nothing from his life. He can't even come out and say crack is bad. No, actually, crack is really good. Did you know that?
Wow.
Don't tell me that's what Hunter's doing. So why do I say this? Just to make fun of Hunter? No, I do it because this is the Democratic Party broadly. They know they've screwed up. They know something has to change. But whenever you focus on what that thing is, they have to defend it.
You want crack? Yeah, crack cocaine. Now, I've never had crack. Dude, you are going to love it.
Does crack cocaine make you act any...
Oh, my God. That is so funny. That is so funny. And then, speaking of Gavin Newsom, 18,000 fast food jobs cut in California after Gavin Newsom raises minimum wage to $20. Yeah, you know what happened? They replaced everybody with robots in those little kiosks that you check out at for ordering food. When you make mandatory minimum wage too high, the business is going to cut costs by getting rid of employees. You want to know why AI and robots are taking over? Is because of mandatory minimum wage. That's why. Because these businesses are barely breaking even. Most businesses are barely breaking even. And you expect them to just be like, okay, now you're going to pay all your employees $20. $20 a pop. Then just like, oh, well, some of our employees are absolutely terrible and do the bare minimum. So we might as well if we're going to have employees do the bare minimum, might as well just get a robot or a screen that you can click your own food order and call it a day. And that's all that happens now. That's what's happening. It's ridiculous. Oh, yeah. Democrats were so quiet while this was happening in front of the world. He is a creepy dude. Just grabbing other people's children. He is just the creepiest dude. So who just randomly grabs and hold of other people's children like that? That is one of the creepiest things I've ever seen. Biden excited to see what happens, what Autopin comes up with for his memoirs. Yeah, the old Autopin scandal that they proved that he pretty much, the only pardon that he actually signed himself was his son's and nobody else's. So all those pardons that he pretty much laid out at the end there are pretty much null and void, and that's what the Trump administration is going after. And I hope they do. I hope Fauci gets charged. I really do. What do we got here? Oh, yeah. This is left-wing scripted propaganda. Yeah, I remember this. We showed this on our show. We showed it on our show when this first came out.
True. That's what you just said. Since day one of Donald Trump's presidency, prices are up, not down. Inflation is getting worse, not better. Prices of groceries, gas, housing, even eggs. He's letting Elon Musk take a chainsaw, giving him access to Americans' most sensitive data. Your social security numbers, tax returns, thousands of federal government. He's frozen federal funding for cancer research, veterans services, payments to family farmers, and so much more. Why? Republican plan is very simple. Families lose, while billionaires win. And that is the truth. That ain't true.
This is how you know that the Democrats are completely tied and in bed with news media and Hollywood. You can't get that level of scripted without the help of Hollywood and huge media outlets. That is what this is. They are a machine that'll keep their party towing the party line. As long as you toe the party line, you're safe in the Democratic Party. That is what these people are. Because why is there never any conservative or Republican equivalent to this? There never is. You can't find one. Because Republicans are actually grassroots efforts, whereas Democrats are a huge machine that is completely scripted. As long as you toe their party line and hit their talking points, you're safe. They'll keep you in power. That's what goes on here. That is what this proved right here. It's absolutely insane. See here, one from Tim Pool talking about the war against Donald Trump, the Democrats' war against Donald Trump recap. And this is a pretty good recap. So check this out. Tim Pool from the Timcast.
Can we go over real quick so people don't forget? Because, people really do forget. They falsely accused Trump of 34 felonies. Mm-hmm. The government proved no underlying crime, which is required for these charges, and told the jury, just decide for yourself if you think there was some other crime. In what reality can the U.S. legal system just say, we're going to lock you up and let the jury decide if you committed some crime. We're not going to actually present you with the crime. You don't get to confront your accusers. You have no right to a trial in this regard. They accused him of civil fraud, even though the banks said he never defrauded them. It was all in the up and up, and they made money and would like to work with him again. They arrested his lawyers in multiple states. They arrested him in multiple states. They raided his home with authorization to kill. They were armed and told if they were met with resistance that threatened their lives or caused great bodily harm, they could use lethal force against the president and the patrons of Mar-a-Lago, which is a large club. Mm-hmm. Right now, considering all that happened, what are we actually going to see? It's been 6 months. Mm-hmm. I know everyone says be patient. It does look like moves are being made, but the most I'm hearing from anyone in this is that maybe there will be a conspiracy against rights charge. I'm like, these people, going back to 2016, tried to overthrow the government. And what I mean by that is the government is of, for, and by the people. And when the American voters vote for Donald Trump, and then a cabal of unelected individuals use governmental power to undermine the will of the people, they're a subversive force betraying this nation. And Trump has an obligation to do something about it with expedience. Can we go over?
Agreed. Why is it that when the Democrats win, if the Republicans don't bow down to the newly elected leader, they're treasonous, they're evil people that need to be arrested? But when a Republican gets into power, it's the right of the American people to protest and get their voices heard. Riots and protests are the voice of the unheard. All that's all you hear. But during January 6th, that wasn't the case. Like, no, these people tried to subvert an election. It's like the left constantly berades the right for using political power. But anytime that they use it, it's okay. And they broke every rule in the book to try to get Donald Trump arrested. And they still failed. And they're acting like, oh, we didn't do that. And he shouldn't do that to us. That would be mean if he did that to us. You can't spend your whole political career, or at least the last, 8 years now, trying to get Donald Trump arrested, thrown in jail for crimes that he didn't commit, and then not expect him to use that force back against you. That's insane. Because we know that as soon as the next Democrat gets in office, it's just going to happen again. The next Republican, which will probably be J.D. Vance at this point, they're going to use everything they can to get him out of there. Like, he was the vice president of a felon. How dare he? Despite the fact that J.D. Vance is like the most vanilla pudding person that you could probably get. But that's what they do. It's like Bill Maher, since George W. Bush, every single president, Republican presidential nominee was Hitler. Bush was Hitler. Mitt Romney was Hitler. What's his name? McCain was Hitler. And then it's like, well, I was wrong about all those. Trump is really Hitler. It's like every single time. The playbook never changes. It's the exact same thing. The next 4 years roll around, the next Republican nominee is worse than the last. It's insane. All right. From Donald Trump, the word is that it's strong, and it's a strong word that Jimmy Kimmel is going to go next. The untalented late-night sweepstakes, and shortly thereafter, Fallon will be gone. These are people with absolutely no talent that were paid millions of dollars, in all cases destroying what used to be great television. It's really good to see them go, and I hope I play a major part in it. Donald Trump, that's him doing a little Truth Social or tweet possibly, but it's usually Truth, and then he posts it to Twitter later. So check next. All right. Oh, yeah. 18 months ago, Hulk Hogan gave his life to Christ. He's looking down from heaven, cheering us on. Right on, brother. Yeah. Hulk Hogan, the man, the myth, the legend. So I remember the last time I saw him on TV was at the Republican nominee with Donald Trump. That was amazing. Love it. Rest in peace to him. And Ozzy Osbourne passed away earlier this week, too. So we lost Ozzy and we lost Hulk Hogan. So crazy. Crazy. We're losing all the greats of the 80s and 90s.
DNC emails that detailed evidence of Hillary's, quote, psycho-emotional problems, uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness, and that then Secretary Clinton was allegedly on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers. There were high-level DNC emails that detailed evidence of Hillary's, quote, psycho-emotional problems.
Okay, so Hillary Clinton wasn't exactly stable either. Why do the Democrats keep trying to run people that aren't all there cognitively? It's because they're easier to control. The oligarchy and the machine state can keep them in control. Can do whatever they want. Do the little auto pen scandal, or some freaking intern or Biden advisor is like, let's pardon this person. Just bring in the pardons. Pardon everybody. Pardon us, so that way we don't get in trouble either. That's what's going on here. Democrats don't know what's going on. All they do is they just want a figurehead in there that they can use and abuse their power. That's all this is.
Another one, Lucifer's Pizza. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. Isn't it amazing in LA? They love the devil. They love it.
Listen, winch is
Oh my days, winch! Hey! Winch, hell!
Winch and hell.
Oh my days, no! Winch! Hey! The world is ended. Look at the devil. Hey! Jesus, have mercy on us. What and wah.
Damned, good preacher. Best you're damned for hell.
A donut shop here called Voodoo Donuts, and all my people are out here buying the Voodoo Donuts. Why on earth is this place called the Voodoo Donuts? I don't want voodoo in my food. Look, Voodoo Donuts, and all my people are rushing over here buying it. Guys, if I show you something here, they even have this thing that says the magic is in the hole. They have a donut called Voodoo Doll. What? Are you actually okay? Look, it says the magic is in the hole. And then the hole says Voodoo Donuts. Why would you eat this? Why? Why? And my people have gone in there excited, ready to pay and buy food. God help us, help us. Is this what we've come to? And right outside of it is this thing here. It says love and faith. That's palm reading, bro. That's witchcraft. The Bible speaks openly about that we should flee from that. That is witchcraft. Guys, this world is coming to an end. I'm at, like, things that are, like, wrong are now being perceived as right and seen as good. I don't want no part in it. These also like, yeah, but the Bible says that it's whatever comes out of a man that defiles you. Yeah, the Bible does say that, but I'm good. I'd rather stay away from eating food like that. If you just want to come for me and judge me and be like, oh, it's not that deep, it's just food. All right, good for you. Me personally, I'll keep my distance. I'll stay away from that. I don't want no voodoo donuts, bro. Guys, there's another one. Lucid.
She's not wrong. She's not wrong. Said L.A. is a hellhole. Probably part of the reason why. It's like, it's a good marketing ploy, but I wouldn't want to be associated with anything that's of the devil. So, we'll check this next one out. This is our school, Oklahoma. Yeah, the Oklahoma. I forget. I'm drawing blank on his name right now, but yeah, he's talking about how teachers have to take a test, and I like it. Check it out. Oh no, forgot to hit the volume.
Teach. We're going to make sure you take a test and understand basic biology before we let you in a classroom. We partnered with PragerU on this and said, hey, if you don't know the difference between a boy and a girl, you're not teaching our kids. Gavin Newsom has warped their entire school system there in California.
And
today, if you're going to come from California to Oklahoma to teach, we're going to make sure you take a test and understand basic biology before we let you in a classroom. We partnered with PragerU on this and said, hey, if you don't know the difference between a boy and a girl, you're not teaching our kids.
Amen. Amen. Any teacher that's all about that said, you've proven that you don't know biology. Remove them from teaching immediately because they've proven that they're an activist, not an educator. That is all that is. They have proven that they're an activist, not an educator. That they care more about feelings than they do about facts. Education is not about feelings. It's not about transitioning children. It's about educating them. It's not about teaching them how to become rioters and protesters and all that. It's about educating them so they get the knowledge that they need to go to the career fields that they need to get to. That's all it is. Not this whole, oh, we need to be nice to children. It's like, no. Like children need discipline and stability. That's what they need. That's all that this comes down to. Is like if you're just letting kids do whatever the heck they want, you're not being a good parent or a parental figure in this case. Just letting kids do whatever the heck they want. That's all this trans issue really is like, I feel like a girl. It's like, okay, you just do you. It's like, kids, generally speaking, don't always choose to do the best thing for themselves. It's like, what's that one video? Shows why the transgender issue is so bad is like a kid has a choice between a piece of candy and $100, and it's like a 3 or 4 year old kid. And it might have been a 6-year-old kid, but it's just like he hands him like an Oreo or $100 bill. He goes, "Which one do you want?" And then what do you think the kid chose? The kid chose the Oreo, despite the fact that $100 could have got him hundreds of Oreos. Because kids don't understand those things, but yet we're still trying to push them into all these weird trans activists trying to push them into understanding gender, which they don't even understand. They don't even understand any of that stuff yet. They're not old enough to. So ridiculous. We'll get on to this next one about the Biden cover-up.
To tell you the truth, and F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden is the best Biden ever.
She knows so long as she was 9.
In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been.
President Biden has a photographic memory. His understanding and mastery of a complicated geopolitical situation, remarkable.
He is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here.
I was sitting, 2 feet from him across the table, and he was, intense.
Have trouble walking sometimes? Yeah, so did FDR. He wanted GD war.
But he's totally focused. He's very sharp.
They say he's sharp in meetings and so on.
Very lucid, very well informed. Biden is stately, and he comes with gravitas. There hasn't been, as far as I know, a single claim that Biden made a mistake.
I want to think to take on government if we get out of line, which they're talking again about. And how
to tell you the truth.
Again, remember that video we just watched of all those Democratic politicians reading the exact same thing over and over again? That's exactly what that was right there. He's the most cognitive I've ever seen. Everyone says he's sharp as a tack in every meeting. This is how you know that they're giving a script and talking points. They all say the exact same thing. This is how you know that the Democratic Party is all AstroTurf. And again, if you don't know what that means, AstroTurf. From afar, it looks like grass. It seems like grass. But when you get over there and you actually get your hands on it, it's not real grass. AstroTurf. Everything about the Democratic Party is AstroTurf. We even talked about this all the time regarding their elections. They haven't had a regular election since Barack Obama. Every person's been appointed by the DNC, at least. It's like, nope, this is the person. This is the person. It's going to be Hillary. Get Bernie out of there. Oh, we need Biden. Because we can go back on the Obama nostalgia. It's going to be Biden. Nobody else better run. It's going to be Biden. And then when Biden proved to be his general off self right there, that he's proven that he's just a doopy old man, it's like, quick, it's going to be Kamala. We're not going to hold a primary. It's Kamala. It's Kamala Harris. No primary. They've done it to you 3 times, Democrats. And you say that the right doesn't respect elections, doesn't respect the vote. Trump is the will of the people, because the RNC wanted Rubio during the 2016 thing. They wanted Rubio, and then during the 2020, everybody was pushing for what's his name? Florida. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. I'll think of it later. But the Florida governor. Him, DeSantis, Ron DeSantis. Everyone wanted DeSantis, not Trump. Trump was the will of the Republican voter. Duly elected, popular vote, and electoral college. Come on. Yeah. Hunter Biden shows, another one of the little Hunter Biden little skits.
I want to tell you
here.
why the Democrats lost the Civil War. Watch.
All these Democrats say, you have to talk about and realize that people are really upset about illegal immigration. Fuck you. How do you think your hotel room gets cleaned? How do you think you got food on your fucking table? Who do you think washes your dishes? Who do you think does your fucking garden? Who do you think is here by the fucking sheer fucking just grit and will that they figured out a way to get here because they thought that they could give themselves and their family a better chance. And he's somehow convinced all of us that these people are the fucking criminals?
Okay, if your moral position is we should have second-class citizens with no rights who do all our menial labor, you're gonna lose the morality argument because humans tend to care about each other. I guess. I suppose there's enough people who exist now and existed then, like Hunter Biden and the rest of the Democrats, that want servants who don't have rights, that will always have this battle for eternity, I guess. I want to tell you
Yes, 100%. It's like they act like every single person has maids or illegal immigrants that work as like servants or like lawnmowers for them. I mow my own lawn. I clean my own house. So I don't have any of this stuff. 90% of Americans don't. It's like only elitists do. He grew up in an elitist family. His dad's been in politicians since he was a child. So he's had these people who's like, yeah, that's how elitist they are. He's like, yes, how do you think that I made my bed? My servant came in and made my bed for me every day. It's like, that is why there are only two types of Democrat. There is like the communist working class type, the progressive working class type, and then there is the extremely wealthy liberal elite that has servants, that is so wealthy that they have servants. And they're like, what do you mean you don't have a butler? What do you mean you don't have a manservant? A maid to come clean up after you? How silly. Peasants. That is where that liberal elitist attitude is coming from, that they just think that they're better than you. Here, I know better than you. I know better than you. Your vote shouldn't count compared to mine. That is their attitude. That is the Democratic liberal elite attitude. Yeah, this one will piss you off.
So you're telling this committee that the Biden administration, while they were letting all of these unaccompanied minors into the country, and as we've talked about today, they weren't keeping track of them, they issued these kids a hotline that they could call if they had trouble with the sponsor family that they were put with. And you're saying that 65,000 calls to this hotline designated to protect these kids went unanswered? Is that what you're telling this committee?
Yes, sir.
Wow. So you're telling them.
Scary stuff. So remember, human trafficking, child trafficking, sending unaccompanied minors to homes that nobody that they're related to. They received over 65,000 phone calls, probably of abuse, financial servitude, slavery. Yeah, monstrous things that the Biden administration did. And you're just pretending, and the Democrats will continue to pretend like he never did anything like that. Yeah, kind of sums up a big problem with Hollywood right now. They're completely out of ideas, and they're just rebooting everything. The whole system's just being rebooted. It's like, what was that meme from, like, it's the Back to the Future meme? What year is it? Like, honestly. Said everything is just a reboot now. Hollywood is morally bankrupt and has no ideas, no original ideas anymore. It's just everything is a reboot or a sequel, and it's getting old. You're wondering why people are turning off and going to like streaming services. It's because you've got nothing. You're giving us nothing new. They don't take risks anymore.
What? $1.3 billion to illegal aliens that don't belong in the country. When Los Angeles is already one of the most expensive cities to live in the country, and you have your own citizens that are struggling and that are poor and they can't pay for shit, and a city already in a fucking deficit is taking out $1.3 billion to shit in the face of Americans. Are you serious? They want to talk about a riot. They want to defend a riot. What's going to happen when normal taxpayers in LA County go and burn that bitch down? What's going to happen when people get fed up and they go to the city hall and they go ape shit? I bet they'll put all of them in jail. I bet they'll make sure they tell all the police to act on them, but not the damn illegals, not the people that are, trying to facilitate them having illegals. What a joke, bro. What a disgusting joke. If you live in LA, get the hell out of that place. Don't come to Texas. Just don't do that.
Don't come.
That's where I'm going. But, get the hell out of LA. This is disgusting. This is disgusting. The Trump administration does not go persecute these people to the furthest extent of the law, then I lose so much respect for this administration. And fuck Pam Bondi. What?
And then we have this great little cartoon here, this AI-generated cartoon of, "Don't worry, children, I will protect you from ICE." And, of course, they're all slave labor, all kids at a weed farm. Yeah. Gavin Newsom is complicit in child trafficking and slave labor. Sorry to all you guys that want Gavin Newsom to be president. Gavin Newsom is complicit in child slavery and human and child trafficking. He's complicit. And he doesn't want ICE to protect these children. This is the other side of the coin that nobody understands, is like the protection of children. That's 65,000 unanswered phone calls from children placed in, whatever, like homes, the little foster homes or whatever you want to call it. Proof that the Democrats don't care about the illegal immigrants that they claim that they care so much for. Not at all. They don't give two craps, man. Yeah, my buddy sent me this. So the Babylon Bee, Trump announces he has acquired a giant anime sword in Japanese trade deal. I love it. I love it. That's good, man. I love it. Then, of course, remember, they're coming for your children. Texas Project, disgusting family-friendly pride festival in Houston, Texas. This was one of the most sexual pride festivals in the nation, and it was all done. Let me see if it says anything else. All done in front of children. We have a serious problem in this state. Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah. They're coming for your children. These are groomers. Oh my gosh, they're actually playing that music too. Sickening stuff. This is in front of children. This was for children, a child-friendly pride event. It's sickening stuff. People who take their children and stuff like this, you should have your child taken away. You should have your child taken away. You are a sick person. But that's really all I've got for today. This is Chad with Owasso Live. This was The Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. But that is pretty much all I've got for you today, everybody. I will catch you all on the next one, which will be next Monday. So I will see you later, everybody.
Oh, Oh,